With over 1.5 billion Muslims worldwide, that is 23% of the world's population, it is highly likely that we will provide care to a Muslim patient and should be prepared to give culturally competent care in a holistic approach to this population. Even in Saudi Arabia, only 31.8% of nurses are nationalists, which again indicates that the non-Arab, non-Muslim staff should be educated on Arab cultural values and religious health beliefs. The Islamic religious beliefs and the values influence all aspects of their daily life. This presentation will discuss Islamic values and beliefs related to healthcare of the Middle East, along with how to provide culturally competent care across their lifespan. Religious rituals, the family, dietary practices, physical touch, privacy, modesty, contraception, birth, sanitary practices, and death are some of the key areas that will be highlighted. This slide reviews cultural attributes. As quoted from Nursing Times, quote, "From Islamic perspective, health is defined as a state of physical, psychological, social, and spiritual well-being and is viewed as one of the greatest blessings God has bestowed on humankind." End quote. Arab Muslims believe that eating, exercise, and praying in moderation is key to good health. The Arab Muslim worldwide is derived from the religion Islam, which means total submission and obedience to the will of Allah and is a complete way of life. The teaching and law of Islam come from the Holy Quran, and the practicing Muslim follows the 5 pillars of Islam. Shahada declares faith and belief in Allah. Salat is a daily prayer ritual. A Muslim must pray 5 times a day in a praying position facing towards Mecca. Zakat is a payment, a portion or percentage of their wages to help those in need. Shan is an annual month-long sunrise to sunset fasting during the holy month of Ramadan. Hajj is a pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca. This pilgrimage should be completed at least one time in their lifetime if they're financially and physically capable to make the journey. Islam prayer rituals have priority throughout the day and should be honored by healthcare staff. The family system, which is predominantly patriarchal, is the core of the community, and the extended family is usually consulted in decision-making. Protection of modesty and dignity is expected at all times. Before physically touching a Muslim, permission should be granted, and care should be provided by a nurse or physician of that same gender as they are. Islam has quite a few dietary restrictions, such as no pork or byproducts, no alcohol, no animal fats, and no meats that have not been slaughtered according to Islamic rites. This next slide discusses childbearing women, sexual behaviors, and female anatomy. Islamic cultures will embrace sexual activity for marital partners only. Contraception is also accepted. Procedures such as vasectomies and tubal ligations may bring some concerns to cultural members. Most Islamic females only receive pelvic exams if completely necessary due to the possible destruction of the hymen. If destruction of the hymen occurs, it could damage their reputation and likelihood to marry or find a suitable partner. Even though most Muslims prohibit female circumcision or cutting, it is a practice performed by some Muslims. Most female cutting involves cutting a flap of skin to cover the female erectile tissue. The covering tissue will usually have to be cut to allow for safer delivery during childbirth, but the doctor may be asked to surgically recover after delivery. Western practice doctors should try to discourage female circumcision redos, but if adamant, redos can be done if the doctor feels comfortable performing the procedure. Overall, Islamic childbearing females should be culturally supported, and special consideration should be instituted to ensure comfort of the Muslim childbearing patient. To continue on the topic of childbearing women, this next slide discusses delivery. The environmental factors of any maternal care should be thoroughly explained to the patient. The goal of any Islamic patient undergoing gynecological care is that there is an all-female healthcare provider team. Most females of this culture prefer same-sex healthcare providers to maintain modesty and privacy. Islamic women still maintain modest dress and covering even during delivery. During any maternal care of the Islamic patient, special precautions to thoroughly educate and protect privacy should be encouraged. This next slide will discuss children of the Islamic culture, focusing on information related to newborns and foster care. In the Muslim culture, when a child is born, the father will recite a prayer call into the newborn's right ear, followed by a second prayer call into the left ear. This will not take longer than 5 minutes, and unless the newborn requires immediate medical attention, this prayer ritual should be honored. Circumcision is also performed on all male children before puberty. Foster care and adoption are also encouraged in Islam. However, the child must retain the family name of the biological family. To continue on the topic of Islamic children, this slide concentrates on information related to adolescence and the treatment of the sick. Arab Muslim adolescents with refugee mothers and or unemployed fathers are potentially at risk for social hassle and stress associated with academic performance. They also suffer hassles and stress from peers in regards to race, religion, and social status. All of these hassles increase the incidence of mental health issues and should be addressed in detail. When a child is sick, the parent will pray to Allah for a cure, but are also required to seek treatment for the child. Both parents should follow all medical and nursing suggestions. This next slide will discuss caring for the Islamic adult aging 18 from 64 years of age. As a nurse caring for an adult of a Muslim faith, spirituality can be a constraint or a tool. It is important to understand that faith and prayer is believed to be the utmost importance and should be included in the plan of care. Although there are Islamic patients who refuse treatments based on beliefs in predestiny and God's will, most tend to believe that illness is a test from Allah and that not seeking care is a sin. In the same light, they also take comfort in believing treatment failure is also God's will and will be rewarded for enduring sickness. Muslim patients with diabetes should be educated about medications that could cause hypoglycemia during times of fast, such as Ramadan, and have a medication regimen tailored to their planned religious activities. When providing bedside care, remember to avoid giving medications and or food that contain alcohol or pork products, as they are prohibited by doctrine. Also attempt to have providers of the same sex as the patient handle any one-on-one treatment or examinations, as it is considered taboo for the opposite sex to perform treatments that entail physical contact. It is also important to use the left hand when preparing or administering any medications or food. This is also related to the doctrine where the left hand was promoted to perform unclean acts such as blowing your nose or toilet use, while the right hand was deemed nobler and is used for clean acts. This next slide will discuss Islamic older adults and health. Elders receive utmost respect under Islam, and children have a special responsibility toward their parents. Caring for the elderly members of the Islam nation is considered a communal obligation as well as a virtue and blessing even for extended family members. Healthcare providers should take into consideration the importance of elderly care as well as the involvement of their family members when developing their care plans. This next slide is a continuation of older adults in relationship to death. Preservation of life is considered paramount in Islam, but death is recognized as a part of life. Islam does not require life-prolonging measures in the case of terminal illnesses. Healthcare providers should discuss advanced directives and end-of-life issues with elder patients as well as their families. This next slide discusses Islamic communities. It is believed that the increasing cultural knowledge and sensitivity will lead to less disparities in medical care. A 2011 Institute for Social Policy and Understanding report indicated that many Islamic patients avoid community hospitals or clinics due to past experiences. Reported issues were lack of basic understanding of their culture, feelings of being stereotyped, and refusal of providers to accommodate simple cultural requests. An imam can be compared to a priest and serve as a religious guide. They can also be very beneficial in healthcare education. As they are seen as extensions of God, they can combine healthcare education in a religious connotation that is accepted to most Muslims. In this manner, they are invaluable in a hospital setting as well as a community-based healthcare promotion. It is important to consider the holistic approach to healthcare that is valued by Muslim faith. Family, friends, and religious members are considered equal providers of physical and emotional care. Allopathic treatments with herbs, foods, and other religious means are often highly valued as medical treatments by Muslim patients and are often used during community gatherings. Providers should be familiar with these and respect the use thereof, as disregard may be seen as disrespect leading to avoidance of further care. This last slide is a conclusion summary. Providing culturally appropriate care requires respecting and honoring the cultural and religious beliefs and values of our patients. Allowing the Muslim patient adequate time for cleansing, praying, and reading of the Quran multiple times throughout the day is expected. Respecting the spiritual needs, privacy, and modesty are paramount when caring for the Muslim patient, while considering the family dynamics in the decision-making process. Dietary restrictions, avoidance of pork and alcohol, including medications that contain pork derivatives and alcohol, are always considered when providing care to a Muslim patient. Close patient monitoring and adjustments to medication administration during the long period of Ramadan, the fasting from sunrise to sunset, are emphasized. Muslims believe that cure and death come solely from Allah, and the preservation of life overrides all Muslim guidelines in life-threatening situations. The ability to provide transcultural care and sound cultural competence is key to effective healthcare delivery, and this presentation has attempted to prepare healthcare staff with the necessary knowledge to equip them when caring for the Muslim patient throughout their lifespan.